My main sport for the last 40 years has been shooting. Belonged to several clubs. In 1989 I qualified as firearms instructor in order to do it right. Now today there's an anti-gun lobby in the country. People who say all guns should be banned. Well, I'd hate to think where we would have been in 1940 if we hadn't had any. Now this, the Lee Enfield 303, the finest service rifle ever designed. Now this, or its equivalent, in the hands of Adolf Hitler, is a dreadful thing. Causes war, unlawful killings, grief, tragedy. This in the hands of Winston Churchill, our man, stops all that and prevents it. So how can this be both good and bad at the same time? Well, obviously it can't, can it? So it's not the gun you look at, it's the person holding it and why he's holding it. Now this, lying on the table, is perfectly harmless. It can't hurt anybody, it can't threaten anybody. It hasn't got a mind of its own. It doesn't want to do anything, even in a condition where it's loaded and cocked, ready to fire. Lay it down and it's still harmless. It can't hurt anybody, except when someone picks it up and decides how he's going to use it. So the gun is not dangerous, it's the person holding it. Now a few years ago there was an election in the offing, and the Labour Party said that they would prevent all gun crime if they were elected, and the people of the country believed them and elected them into office. That's how they got there. And what did they do? They went to gun clubs and banned the use of handguns. Guns that weren't doing any harm. They did it for political reasons. Everybody knew that the banning of handguns from legitimate gun clubs would do nothing to prevent unlawful killings and armed crime. All they did was to create a black market for them. There are people out there now making a fortune selling illegal guns to villains who want to use them. Gun club people, any shooting people, are responsible, mature people who do things right. Of course you can't legislate for the maniac, the fellow with the mental disorder, goes mad, wants to kill someone. He'll do that no matter what he uses. Doesn't matter what he uses, he'll use something, whether he's got a gun or not. So you can't legislate for that. The point of this is that gun club people are good people who do no harm to society. Now let's take another popular sport, football. Well, there's a whole industry around football injuries. Football clubs have their own medic on the strength because of football injuries. There are injuries in all sports, except shooting. In my 40 years of learning and teaching shooting, I've never heard of an injury from a gun club. The fear of guns comes from the lack of knowledge. If you knew your subject, you would know that shooting clubs are responsible people who do a service to society. By recruiting people and showing them the proper responsible use and the respect of guns, the less will be their abuse. So let's give gun clubs their handguns back again. The law was changed once, it can be changed again. Don't prolong what was a political move and was wrong in the first place. Give gun clubs back their handguns. They do no harm with them. They're good people. I know. 40 years with them has taught me.